Let's do that. Let's do see if this works as I try and figure out new stuff for this whole little streaming world we've got going. Today, I'm able to see all of you really well. You're really close to me. Instead of squinting my eyes. Tell me if there's any issues. So yeah, just tell me if there's any issues. Hopefully everybody's having a good Friday. It's 2:46 p.m. on the West Coast, and today I figured I would go over some Photoshop and Illustrator stuff. People have been asking for it for a while. As I said in the description of this video, I am not a Photoshop or Illustrator expert, but I certainly use everything I get everything out of it I can without being an expert. So, hey, Pink Spider, how you doing? 24 concurrent viewers already. How do you like my mood lighting? We're ready for some. I guess I could have done this at home, honestly, but there's the off chance that I blow through this and it's like, oh, let's move on to something else. So we'll see how it goes. Feel free to ask questions about Illustrator during this live stream, just like any live stream, because I'm just going to move through how I would pattern out. Like I have a sporn pattern I'm going to do, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, my face is hidden a little behind a mic for sure. A little better. Not the best microphone positioning, but you're going to look a lot less at my face anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Anybody in chat use Illustrator for patterning yet? Do we have any people that are actually using it? Honestly, part of the reason I haven't done it is because I'm like, why am I going to tell people how to make patterns? That's my gig. But just trust in your own skills. I'm not really that worried about it. Hey Omar, thanks for the Omarian donation right off the top. I appreciate it. Lots of love. Thank you. Yunolith says, I already know about those programs and I just use Animate. I don't know what that is, so whatever works. Oh, this is a bit of a wiggly table too. Not that it matters because the camera is not on the table, so we're good. So I'm going to start off with something fairly simple. I'm not really patterning today. I've decided just to do some stuff, so I may or may not use this. I'll go through as much as there's a few things that I'm going to go over that I've probably forgotten how I originally did it, but we'll get there. And yeah, so I've got this old sporn pattern that I've never patterned, so I'm going to play with this. You guys can ask me, tips and stuff if you want to, whatever. So I'm going to scan that in, and then we're going to just work with some Illustrator lines and just show you how I set up my canvases and stuff in Illustrator, so you know how to easily make it work. Because I was doing a lot of stupid stuff to begin with when I was using Illustrator that was way more complicated than it needed to be. So anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna throw this into the scanner all willy-nilly, and we're just gonna do some stuff, see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. And this is a super simple pattern, but I'll describe how my layout works and stuff during the process. Let's see if I can not make a mess here. Yeah, good job. Boom. All right. Animate, Flash, and Illustrator are the only two vector programs in the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, but it's easier to make templates on Animate and save it as an SVG. I've never had any problems making patterns on with Illustrator, so I don't know. I'd have to look at Animate. But let's see if I got this figured out. Boom. Well, there's Photoshop. Easy peasy. The first thing we're going to do in Photoshop is we are going to... Now, obviously, you can just do this from scratch if you're good at math, but I'm going to go through the painful process. No, it's not painful. The extra process of scanning. And hopefully I think it'll be skewed on an edge, so that'll watch it just not work, and then everything's screwed. There we go. Come on. My scanner and printer is actually kind of crappy. I should get a new one. I can hear it working. And that's the end of the stream, everybody. It's been a good day. What's it doing? There. That was way more effort than I'd like. I'm not even sure if you can scan into Illustrator. Never bothered with it. So one of the things I'll do right away, this has got kind of a fold on it. It's not a huge deal, but I'll drag this over and see if my oh, my mouse is terrible here too. Just make sure it's like right leveled up. I might even do something like this and drag these in to check my edges and where it's right here and check my holes. That's pretty close. Really, that's all we need to do in Photoshop. Done. Amazing. Photoshop. Moving on. We'll see it. This may not let us copy directly over to Illustrator. It's kind of weird copying between Photoshop and Illustrator sometimes, so I might have to save it. But we'll see how it goes. And we're going to just open an old pattern of mine, just because it's easier to just use it as a template. So you can see my crazy butted pages here. I've got lots of little stuff over to the side that is just garbage that I drag in if I need it, like scissors to show I'm cutting stuff. But these are all artboards that are a very specific size. Now these are not 8.5 by 11 artboards by any means. They are much smaller. They're not much smaller. They're small enough that the margins and the print margins won't screw it up on both 8.5 by 11 letter size paper or everybody that uses. What's the other one? Who's the other one? A something. Anyways, the European one, the one that's not North American. So these should all fit within those. Whoops. 1 second here. All right. So I've got, these are all butted together. They're all single artboards. And the reason they're all butted together is because that means if I take a pattern that's too big for them, like we've got here, I can just place it over and it'll automatically copy over to the other side. So that's a good way. Just make sure all your artboards are butted up. And it's going to be hard for me to catch all the messages today, so because I'm more focused on actually doing something for a change, which is, it's all right. Thanks for subscribing. I can't read your name, but thanks for subscribing. So I've also, you can see I've got a few things. I've got my watermarks, I've got my logo, and I've got these little dashes. You can't select them because they're locked, but the dashes are all over the whole thing, so I can line up my crossover. Is this locked too? Beep. No. So this should be moved and placed, and then when I line up the dashes and tape the pages together, then we've got exactly what we need as far as our alignment goes. I'm gonna just quick to check to see if there's any people going, what? Why did you skip a step? I did. There's a lot of stuff. We're gonna go over this not in order. This is not a class. This is me winging it, but with some focus. That's all we need is a little focus, people. Winging it, but with focus. Reading. Nothing important to read right now. Good. So I've got this spot down here, just my big space of stuff. I wonder if I can paste that into here. Ah, there, boom. We can. That's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Is that, have I lost my mind? 8. I'll figure it out. 26. Yeah, That's odd that it's that size, but whatever. I'm gonna just break it down to, I don't remember it ever just pasting in that size. Usually it's exact size. 1 second, I'm going to grab a ruler. So, because that's a little weird, I don't know what's going on there, but winging it as usual. This is about 10 1/4 inches in length. So I can just like easily adjust it. 10 1/4. Are these even in inches? Yeah, these are in inches. Inches. 0.48. I'm a little confused suddenly, guys. Sorry. Can't be that size. Am I crazy? Is that pouch that big? No, it's fine. 12. Do 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 do. Boop boop doop. Each of these should be an inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Blah. Whoops. 10 1/4. I'm going to look at the chat for a second now. Hopefully there's not too much mocking since McEwen's here. You give the guy his own little emoji and you can really see what kind of person comes out of him. He's like, I don't know. Like, you can tell this, I'm just rambling. You can tell this isn't even. Anyways, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to, where's the opacity? As I get to fumble through these a little bit. Transparency. Make it a little more transparent. Get it so it's not interfering with the work I'm going to do on it. McEwen is the best kind of person. That could be true-ish. All right. So we've got our main area where we're just playing with stuff until it can get into this form, obviously, right? And then we're going to bring it up here. It's like, I'm going to use my pen tool. There's the Illustrator is a little annoying, like, to get the hang of if you haven't used it before. Vector art in general is a little weird, but for now, my plan is to make half of this, and I'm going to. People are probably going to be like, "You're doing it wrong," which would be great if somebody could like fill me in on how to do this a little better. But this is how I do it. And I'll sort all the corners out later. But like, you could basically get to here and you're being all right. Man, you could even tell how warped that pattern is without even looking at it too hard. All right, so boop, boop, boop. There. Well, we don't want it to, we want it to have an outline, obviously. Maybe make it 2 point. I don't usually put any. Sometimes I'll put a background, and then maybe it'll be like I'll bring the transparency down. Well, we chatted last week, Yonelith. I was here last week. You were here also last week. Chest shield, I haven't touched it, but we'll get to it. So then we can use the curve tool. And we're going to play with the curves. And it can be, man, under pressure, this is funny. There we go. And with this little thing, you can smooth it out. So if it looks a little janky, you can smooth it out. And I'm not really worried about it being exact, at least on this flap. As long as it looks nice, we're good. This is probably an excessive amount of little dots, honestly, but I'm okay. Check to see that it's not crazy in any way. Yeah, it's looking fine. Might be a little weird in here. Right here it looks a little weird, so I'm going to pop that out. I should be able to play with it a little bit with these little armatures. Yeah, it looks pretty smooth. I wouldn't call it perfect, but it's pretty smooth. All right. Did I just not even put a dot here? I must have. Yes, I did. All right. So we can grab the curvature again. Sometimes when you're, again, I'm not an expert at Illustrator. I don't know the exact programming that makes certain things do what they do. But occasionally when you just grab this and pull it, you can see how that warped there up here. So I'm actually going to just, I think this is a bit excessive. Whoops. You can only select point. You got to, when you're selecting points, if the whole thing is already selected, you can't really select a point. You got to kind of tap it. Yeah, I'm doing this a little ass backwards, honestly. Anyways, I'm going to add a point in here and that'll kind of stop, cripple it from fucking around. Hopefully. Hopefully. Jesus, give me a break. I'm just going to delete that. Boom. No, not what I wanted to do. All right. Change of plans. We're going to add here and do it a little more gradually so it's not like having a fit. Can just settle these in. I kind of want the bottom to be a little wider than it was in the original. Then we can check these. There's one. So this is pretty pointed here, and we can take this and just drag it out, and it'll curve it up really nice. Some of these are a little sketchy. All right. Now this is weird because I did a bunch of dots here like a goofball. I could just curve them, I guess. No. I know for sure that this is not an instructional video, but hopefully you get something out of it. Feel free to ask questions. This is definitely not a plug to my, well, it is a little bit of a plug, but super chats, super stickers, I will definitely see right away as I do this. They'll pop up. But I'm going to try and maybe put it in all caps. I don't know. We'll figure it out because I can certainly zone out. Oops, that's not what I want to do. So the adding a point tool will also just take away a point. So I want to take away a point in the middle of this, and that'll fix that up a little bit. Go up here and make sure this hasn't gone bonkers. Yeah, and I don't mind that it's straight like that and that this is a little curved. I don't think so. Yeah, it'll be fine. So we've got half of it done. And we can just take the whole piece and mirror it. We can reflect it and copy it. Did I just screw that up? What the hell did I do? Object, transform, reflect. There we go. Copy. And then we can just slide it over using shift and the arrow to make sure it stays on the same plane. And that's about right. And then we can just join these if we want to. We can just pop in here. Whoops. I don't really need that anymore, but I'm going to lock it just in case we do need it. Lock. Selection. All right. You can just come in here and just join these. Join. Boom. Easy. Does it look weird? Is there curve issues? Not really. Not for a pattern. And we can join this down here too. At first I was selecting the whole, both pieces and just hitting join and it would kind of do it. But if you select actually just the area, it works a lot better. And again, we're just going to see if it looks fine. It's a pattern. It'll be okay. We're not going to have a momentary meltdown for anything there. So we got that part done. Pretty straightforward. There's a couple things. Obviously, if we're putting these holes in here, are we putting, like, I think this was for D rings and clips that I had. We can quite easily, quite easily, my butt. Beep, beep, beep. And then go up here and make the just make it the exact size you want it. Put it there. We copy it. We Control-Shift-V for pasting in place, and then we tab over to what we think is the right spot. Probably isn't the right spot, but it might be. Anyways, we're going to group these. We're putting them in a group so that the rest of Illustrator thinks that they're one item for when I'm trying to center them on this piece. So we can select both our outline and our two rivet holes, and we can go up here to the top, and there's a bunch of different options how we want to have these, the group and the outline for the sporran interact with each other. This is what we want. We want it all to center. See, it was pretty much spot on. But because it was pretty much spot on and there was not a great example, I'm just going to, there, we're going to do that. And we, boom, center them. And the bottom piece doesn't really matter, but. All right. We got that far. So one of the things I would probably do on this pattern, I would probably do a, oh man, you know what? Damn it. Now thinking about this, I do actually want this to curve a bit more, because how I would have this flow. Will it be okay? Let's not overthink things. It's fine as it is. All right, so you got all this. You're like, well, I want to put holes, like punch holes in it. McEwen, I saw this really awesome trick. I hate the word hack, so I am prototyping 2 of them. One for me, one for Magnus. Hope it works. Reading back, don't know what you're talking about. But that's okay. Mag getting all techie. The channel is expanding. I'm trying. Anyways, we are going to do holes. So we're going to select our outline, and we're going to, I always forget my exact measurement for this. I sometimes have to open up a different thing, but we're going to offset the path. Now you can see the offset path has gone on the outside of your pattern. You don't want that. So obviously, if positive is outside, negative is inside. So we go over here and we do that. It's on the inside. What was my number? This is a weird number. What is that? What is that even as a number? Was it just 0.125? That's a quarter, right? No, that's an eighth, right? Am I crazy? That's an eighth. Yes. Eighth makes sense. All right. We've got our line for our stitching holes. And there's a couple things you can do with that. You can just simply just change the stroke on it. And you go down here, you turn it into a dashed line. Now I have once you've got it set for how you like to do your holes, you can save that and just click a button, which I'll show you after. But so we got a dashed line here. Maybe you just want to do a dashed line. You're doing a, you've got some stitching chisels. They're not exact placement. You just, hey, there, dashed line. We're going to put some punches around here. Everything will just turn out just fine. But if you want to be more specific with your holes, which is what I've done on a ton of my patterns, you can change the cap and the corner and the dash and the gap, like that kind of stuff, right? I'm having a very, oh, okay, so dash and gap, and then you can change the stroke of it and get them bigger. Let's make that gap more, maybe 15. And then there's either, over here we've got, they sometimes work well, they sometimes don't, but they shift around a bit, you can see, depending on which one you use. Get the whole thing in frame here. Down to the, I'm pointing as if you can see my finger. Down to the bottom here. Down to the bottom here. You can see what it's doing. So right now you see those two holes really close together. That's because it's kind of just wrapping around perfectly. And, well, there's no more space, so they just butt them together. And this one will preserve the space between them. They're not always perfect, but I almost always use this one, obviously, because I don't need extra holes, right? Nobody's talking at all. Is everybody just freaking listening? Whatever. So we've got that. So I'm going to go over here, and there's a, I honestly, if you ask me to redo this right this second, it might be problematic for me. But in the, where is it? See, I can't even find it. I just saw it earlier. Oh, is it on here? Gradient, transparency. Oh, graphic styles. There we go. So you can see I've got some graphic styles in here already. And I've got this one, which is a stitching hole style that makes it so there's a white center. It looks better. It's unnecessary, but it's something I use. So, boom. We've got that. And that is done, like, again, this is something that I Googled to try and figure out how to do, so you may have to do a little bit of that, but it's in your, where's the exact spot for it? Oh man, sometimes this thing is, drives me a little crazy. Here it is. So the appearance of this is, it's got a 4-point dashed and a 6-point dashed line that like overlay each other, and that makes it so it kind of like punches a hole in the middle of it. Pretty straightforward, other than trying to figure this out. So at least the graphic styles and the appearance of the graphic styles are right next to each other. You can even see up here, this is the little graphic style itself. I don't know why I couldn't find that right away. That would have should have been really easy. So why do I have holes all the way around it? I don't need to have holes all the way around it necessarily. A lot of people, you're just going to stitch your gusset onto the bottom, and then you're going to do a front piece, and then you're going to stitch it onto the other side. But sometimes I'll want to obviously put some kind of edge around the flap, which looks amazing. So you should play with that. That always looks really cool if you can do that. And this would just be like a single piece. I would join it down at the bottom here, and it would go fold right over. You could do a different kind of fold, but let me not get carried away here. You would just fold your piece over around the edge and the gusset all the way up to here, and then just continue around the edge. And pretty straightforward there. So we're just going to leave that as is. I'm going to read now. Yeah, people are just listening. Well, I will continue to just talk. Oh, I need a new stool. This stool is the most uncomfortable thing in the world. Jesus, my butt. All right. So we've got that. This is obviously this thing we locked here. Not necessary anymore. We don't need it. But we need a front, right? I would probably, let me just do this here. If I'm going to do a front, I just go, because I'm lazy, I'll just copy this. the whole thing for no reason. Take it over. We like get rid of this, and if you select this tool, so this here on the left is select everything, and this is, well, select everything within its, so it'll go all the way around the edge, not everything in the piece that I have here. I'd have to do that, but it would get everything. Like I could just grab a little corner of it, it gets everything. If I do this, realistically, if I delete, it's just going to be that little spot up there because I've only selected that little area, and it breaks it up into parts and shows you the parts. What we need to do is make the top flap and its stitching go away. So in theory, I'm just going to do this and hit delete. Now, it may not line up perfectly. We'll see what happens. Oh, yes. It worked. Get in here and just see if it's, yeah, it's right where I want it. Now the holes have shifted, which can be a little problematic at times. Can you create customized panels once you have the tools and settings you mainly use? I'm not 100% sure what you mean, Chris. Customized panels. Oh, on the side, you mean? There's a lot of stuff that I don't know about the customization part, but I'm sure it's very robust. So we're going to take this little pen tool here. One of the things we may have to sort out is stopping those holes from moving around, because obviously, though we could say these holes are for the front and these holes are for the back on the gusset, like when we make our gusset, we could say front, back, because the holes are different, but that's dumb. We don't want the holes to be different. We want them to be exactly the same. So we'll fiddle with that in a second. Within the program, get rid of the clutter. Can you create customized panels once you have the tools? Yeah, you can delete all these panels and move them out of the way and get stuff out of the way. I usually have 2 monitors going, but for this project, I have 1 because you guys are here on this other monitor. So we are going to just do this little action. Boom, we've got our front. Now, one of the things we need to do is figure out how to better align these holes. And part of that, I think, is just, well, let's maneuvering these down. One sec here. Let's see if I've done this. No, I've screwed it up. Is that really on it? Oh, that's on an angle there because it's the point. Let's just delete that. We're going to delete this just because they're getting in the way. We don't need them. It's an extra point in here that's going to annoy me. All right, so now we're going to put that line back in there because, well, it's missing. You know what? Honestly, I'm going to move these first. They're just in the way. All right. So like this will like work off of this other point we have here. And there's probably 100% an easier way to do what I'm about to do, but I'm going to do it like this anyways. Now I'm checking the lines to see, like this line here. This is kind of resting on the bottom of it. This is resting on the bottom of it. Should be okay. But one of the things we can do is we can pick up the whole thing. We can just select the whole thing. I'm going to group it just to make sure it's all one item. And we can just drag it onto this thing. And see what we can come up with. Whew, that's a bit of a mess, isn't it? All right. Actually, don't need it grouped. Ungroup. If we can pull this to this one, like in theory, this is going to work. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be close. And bring it to this one. So look, that's, come on. That's horseshoe close, right? That's horseshoe close. The only other thing here is how much space there is from this, the top of this. We can just move this out of the way now. We're going to do the single selection tool. Select that. Oh, actually, we should leave that. Hold shift, grab this. And move the whole thing back out of the way. All right. What the hell? I shouldn't have done that. Well, I must have undone something accidentally. Let me fix. Fixing. All right. This should all just move. No. Move. There we go. Okay. Get it over there for now. I'm going to check chat here in a second. Sorry. I'm just kind of lost in my own little world. Okay. What was I saying? I don't like the space between this line up here and the hole, but I'm going to look at chat. I am cooking a hungry man dinner. I'm hungry too. Cannibalism. What? Somebody posted the owl emoji. Thank you, Trust. I love the owl emoji. Can you create customized? Oh, we see you guys aren't even. You're just zoning the fuck out. I've already seen all this. I'm using the latest version of Illustrator, Sean. Always, because I have the Adobe suite. I pay for a monthly fee for every single Adobe product, and I use Illustrator, Photoshop, Acrobat, Premiere, Audition. Not a lot of After Effects. I'd like to do more of that, but I use enough of it that I just pay for all of it. But I'm sure lots of the stuff I'm doing here is not exactly next level rocket science. One of the things I would like to do to this is probably round this a little bit here. I wonder if it's a single dot. I can't remember. Oh, it is. So, but then, okay. So the only problem with that, whatever. I'm just gonna do it anyways. We can select both of these by holding Shift and click. And we can drag these out to round this off a bit. That's fine. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Now, the thing I was saying over here is the only thing I don't like is the distance between these. So I may move them. But we're not going to do that right this minute. Right now, right this minute, I'm going to go quickly get a drink. So bear with me. Isn't the lighting nice? It's beautiful. Oh my God, my butt. Oh, it's numb. It's numb. That's not as bad as I thought it was. It's actually pretty good. Boink. All right. I'm going to change this just because I want to change it. And it's good to show you guys stuff like that. Oh, this mouse is terrible. New mouse. Need a new mouse. All right. Pretty simple, really. We can just move the point if we want to. Now, I wonder if I can just... Let me see if I can just tap the point down. That'd be interesting. I can. Okay, see, I didn't know that. You can just go... So then I can go over here and go do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 to the right. One more down. Go over here. One more down. Everything looks pretty good to me. I think maybe... Out one? Yeah. Overthinking? No, I've never done that. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I like where it's at. McEwen Handcraft, did you borrow Mag's butt massager? He did. He borrows many things from me. So, a gusset is in order here. Somebody else is umming out in the hallway. Just going to get rid of this stuff because I don't need it. And I'll just save as Sporon. Sporon. Which you guys probably can't see that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm saving it as Sporon. Grab all these, move them here for no reason. So Hope Street was wondering, will you save this video so we can watch later and refer back to it? All of my live streams are saved, but none of them are listed. So they're unlisted, but if you scroll down on my YouTube page, there is a live stream section. So you can they're listed there, but nobody can find them on my main page, because realistically, if you got a bunch of live streams, people stop watching you, honestly. Just is what it is. I'd just like to remind everybody that these live streams are made possible by you guys through super chats, super stickers, memberships, gifted memberships, your interaction in the channel, and all that kind of jazz. So if any of you are interested in becoming members, now's the time. I'm going to paint a happy little tree right over here. Let's make this happen. All right. Gusset. There's a couple of things that we need to do for the gusset. We have to decide if we're going to roll an edge on it, which for me, like, how do I describe that? So if you were to put your leather on here, you got your gusset, it's a big rectangle, and this is the front of your piece, and your leather would be, when you're sewing it together, over top of it, like this kind of an angle. Yeah. Like this, like a rectangle, and you sew it from the back of the gusset and then through the front of your piece, so you can wrap it around the edge. So that's something you gotta decide if you want to do, or if you just want to butt it. I just wouldn't butt it up. Do I have an example? I obviously do. I have an example. Give me a break. Let's see. So this is a lazy example. It's one of my earlier patterns. Man, I haven't opened this in a while. So we've got this bad lighting, but this is where I need two cameras. I have two cameras. I just didn't think I'd be doing this kind of stuff. Is that, can you even see that? Oh, okay, there, at least it's focusing. So, oh, I know what to do. Oh, sorry guys, one sec. Boom, that's better. Hey, can you see that tiny, tiny little thing? Stop focusing on my face. So you can see how this is just on the front. It's rolled into here. So it's stitched from the back through the front, and then it's just rolled around the edge, and the back side is butted and stitched. But most of the stuff I do now, when you roll it around, this is terrible to see, I'm sure. When you roll it around in the front, it's stitched through to like secure it or something. Anyways, that didn't really go as planned. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Maybe. All right, for this one, what are we going to do? Brain working. Yeah, you can see chat on this live stream as well afterwards, for sure. Really? You can't? I'm 100% sure you can. If you can't, then maybe I've selected something that's incorrect. How did you burnish that on the inside of the pouch? I didn't burnish the inside. Did I burn one? Where's I could set up a second camera here, but I'm still thinking more about just trying to show you guys with this. Okay. Focus on the thing. So this is just flipped around, you can see there how it's just kind of looped around. If we were to pry this away, like this is a dumb way of doing this, so I'm giving you the dumb example first. My God. All right, this is a terrible example. I'm moving on. I will just try and describe it, and we will just move forward. So, you've got your flush. See, now I'm showing my hand as a pouch. Oh my God, things are starting to unwind here. All right. Where's the freaking leather? Easy. There. This will make more sense. All right, we've got our pouch. Boom, we've got the front of our pouch. Fucking stop looking at my face. The back side. Now I'm going to use the back as the front. The back side. Our gusset goes here. And you're going to stitch through, and then it curves around. So it makes that loopiness that we have on the front. What is my point with this? There's a couple ways to stitch your gussets on. The best ways, 100% the best ways. Don't be sorry, it's funny. 100% the best way to do it is always to have a rolled front edge that's stitched through completely the roll. Because you want it to be nice and it'll look really nice. Everything will be great. So what does that mean for you? That means that you want to go through there's got to be 3 sets of holes on the front side of your gusset. So here, let's do a little quick thing here. Boom. Object. We're going to offset path. Sure. We're going to add our holes over here in my graphic styles. Bam. We got that. Obviously, the both ends of the gusset don't have holes. This is just really rough. Oh my God, don't do that. All right. So we've got our gusset holes. The back is fine because the back's just going to be butted. Dark Horse Workshop, what if you want your belt bag to be perfectly squared? You know what it says. You can just make it squared. You'd have to sketch it out. I would just make it squared. Shouldn't be any issues. Right at the corner, it could get a little funny, but it should be okay. Thanks for subscribing there, Rise Sebre. Thanks for subscribing. So, going back to my rambling here. For the gusset, I prefer something probably in and around, like the perfect world would be something between a garment weight and a upholstery weight, like somewhere in there. But I would 3 ounce maybe. I use a lot of the time I'll use like a 3 ounce that has a little bit of, it's got to be supple. Obviously it's not crispy. So just make sure it's upholstery and garments nice and supple. So something in that kind of zone. I wouldn't, yeah, it's tough. Like off the top of my head, I just grab whatever in my bin and be like, oh, this looks about right. But yeah, 3 ounce sounds about right. I also have a bell skiver so I can cheat. So I can skive this part that's folded if I want to. But yeah. All right. Sorry. Now, if we are doing the way that I recommend, which is sewing through each layer. So we're going to go through. See, I'm going to have to show you guys a better example of this. Probably a little more on the curve around. All right. So that ends up being our holes for the, actually, let's do a little more of this. This is probably a terrible example. So this here, this edge is folded. You just fold it under itself. So you're folding it so that the it's always the grain side out. You're folding it so like the back rough is hidden, and then once that's folded, you can stitch through both those holes at once. So you go through the top, so they would be through this one first, and then it's through this one because it's folded, then it's through here, and then it's through there, which is, you know, it's getting a little crazy. Might be excessive for some people, but, and I probably need to be showing you an example of this on the table, which I should just do. Like I just don't have my light, so whatever. I'm gonna stop right now and just show you an example of this, just because I want to make sure that I'm not losing everybody. Even though this is about Photoshop and Illustrator, I just want to show you what I'm talking about. It's in my brain. You can't see the screen? Oh my God. See? I'm terrible. Thank you. Boom. See? Even I zoned out. Anyways, I did this freaking thing over here. This is the thing. Thank you. This is the front. This is the front part of the gusset to be attached to the front of the thing. And I'm going to just show you on the table, but I'll show you here again what I was talking about. So, sorry about that, everybody. Again, zoned out. And the monitor I have to kind of like look over. And thanks for the super sticker there, Tufts. Very, very lovely. I love the, how's it going? Very nice. So, I'm going to show you on here, and then I'm going to show you actually on my table because it's bugging me. You fold this edge here. You fold it, and then you have your nice rounded edge. And then when you're stitching the gusset onto the front of the pouch, you go through this. This is the first hole you go through because once you fold it, it's the closest to the edge, right? So you go through this hole and through this hole. And then through this hole. And then through this hole, out the back. And that cinches that down on the pattern. So I'm going to set up the other camera. It's going to take me 2 seconds. I'm just going to show you. Screw it. Screw it. Screw it. And the lights are going to come on because I don't have any lighting. What do we got here? It's almost like I have other cameras that I can do stuff with here. All right. Moving on to 1 second. All right, now you're not going to be able to hear me very well. It's almost like I do this part-time instead of full-time. All right, this is a good example. Great piece of leather. A little heavier than I wanted actually, but whatever. This is just an example. Just an example, because it's bugging me. Here's our pretend gusset. All right. Can I bring this in a little more? Hell yes, I can. 1 second. There you go. All right. This leather is a little heavier than I'd like, but I'm just going to give you a quick example of what the hell I'm rambling about. All right. So, let's do an auto. So we've got all these holes here, right? This leather, a little thicker than I wanted, but we're going to pretend that this is the edge of our pouch. Yes, I don't know how well you can hear me. Oh, actually, you can hear me pretty good. I can see the levels. We're going to pretend that this is the front edge of our pouch. And we've got these holes here. And then obviously we're going to have holes here. All right, this folds to create our roll. And also means that we can stitch straight through both these holes. Again, this is too thick. It needs to be thinner than this. And then this goes on here. Right? So it's rolled. And we're stitching through these holes, through the holes on the other side, through this, all the way through. And then we go out the other side and through those holes at the back. So we've got our like looped. That's the actually easy way to show it too. Even without the holes. Get in there, you crazy thing. All right, see? So that's the plan. We're stitching straight through all this. We're going through this part, the little back part, the main body, and out the end. We're gonna go all the way around the edge. So that's the idea. Success. 1 second. At least I think success. That's success for me. Off on a tangent, right? Off on a tangent. Reading. I'm working on some Diesel Punk Pro patterns. Man, that guy loves stitching holes, like 300 plus for this item. Yeah, there are a lot of stitching holes. He's got some complicated patterns. I don't have the liner tool. Not sure what that means. Yeah, I've got that. I just didn't care to do it. I'm doing other things right now. A real expert punches holes on wax and paint to help lube his paint. I don't know what that means. I don't. Yeah. What? You can't hear me? Did you guys not hear any of what I had said? I'm confused. One of those days. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. As Robert said, okay. Did you not hear me at all at one point, or was it very just quieter? Okay, good. Hey, Darkly, how you doing? Let's bounce back over to scene. There we go. All right, so that's the general idea with this. You could see that even with the spacing that I had done on those holes, they were not even close to where they needed to be. So, like these would be, you need to like think about that space or test beforehand, measure, and then put that measurement into your pattern. Do a little test. What is going on here? Just select that. All right. So they need to be more like this. And this line here has to almost always has to be wider than there needs to be more distance between this set of holes and this set of holes than this set of holes and this set of holes, because usually you're going around like a wider piece of leather here, right? You're going around something here. Or this here is just a fold. Anyways. Where were we? Right, we're moving on to paint equals that via auto. Yeah, I don't punch on the wax. I don't. That would be a mess. So we've got our stuff here. This gusset's obviously completely wrong. Now there's a way of measuring your edge. See if I can remember off the top of my head. I probably can't, honestly. So an easy way to do it is once you've got your graphic style, easy way. It's not the easiest way to do it. It's a for sure way of doing it. Once you've got your graphic style and you know how your holes are going to be, you can see how I can pull this and it doesn't warp the holes, right? It'll move them around a bit, but it's like it's still keeping the same distance. So you can just count these holes. Oh my god. Thank God. I looked over, I'm like, did I forget to show you guys the screen again? No. So you could just count these holes. There's a way of, let me see if I can quickly just looking for something real quick here. Because this would be outline stroke. All right. Object path outline stroke. Select the outline stroke document info. All right. So in theory, you can do object path object. I'm just fiddling on the air here. Path outline stroke. Open the document info palette window. Document info attributes. Objects option. Move this out of the way. Sorry, everybody. One sec. Paths entries. The palette will show the number of dots. Paths. I want to figure this out because it was really handy when I found it. I just haven't used it in a while. Select the outline stroke. Open the document info palette. In the document info palette flyout menu, turn on the objects option. Objects option. I don't see it. Oh, objects. There we go. All right. So this is what I was doing. I just want to rewind here. If you guys are wondering how many holes are on your edge, this is what you do. So I'm going to undo this stuff. Quickly read. He needs some milk. Wet the leather for holes. No, I would never wet the leather for holes. You just use a little bit of wax on your punch and just punch it. So number of holes, you can just go, you can select this, you can select your holes, and then you can do a object path outline stroke, and then you can open up the document info palette that I've done here, and then you can turn on objects, and it'll say here, paths. There's one open and 70 closed, so it'll show the number of paths there. So these are all paths. All these lovely ones are paths. So then you know how many holes you have. Have fun at dinner, McEwen. Good stuff. Thanks for subscribing, Torres. All right. Back to what I was talking about. So we've got 71 paths here. Then obviously I'm going to undo the stuff that happened there. I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. Object, path, outline stroke. This says 52. Obviously we want more. $56. Oh, I screwed that up. Oh, right, because it's not a stroke anymore. Never mind. We got to do this first. There. Then we could screw around with this. Objects, path, Outline the stroke. Now it's way too many. Just leave the stream up on your phone during all of dinner. I bet the next wife will understand. I feel like I'm not doing exactly what I should be doing here with some stuff, but it's okay. Like my class outline is 0, so I'm like, I think I'm jumping around a bit too much, but whatever. Oh, there we go. So there's 71. We got it. Well, that was lucky. So that's 71. So that's the length of our gusset. We just got to decide on the top and bottom if there needs to be less or more. There definitely needs to be a little less. We want to nudge it up here. Nudge it up here. There. Now our only worry is is the hole placement good here? That's something you just got to figure out yourself. This is obviously going to be way too narrow. Like that's less than an inch. So we know that much at least. Let's get rid of that. We just close this. So how wide do you want your gusset to be once everything's stitched in? Will this warp this? I don't think it will. We're about to find out. No. Does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. Let's say, what? 2.5 inches? Ish. So that's looking a little better. Well, that's our gusset. And because our holes are the right measurement, the size of our gusset should be the right measurement, right? So now we've got... I wish that wasn't as pixelated. Anyways, why is it so... It feels like really pixely. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. So we've got like a lot of this in the right wheelhouse. There's a few things that we can do to guesstimate the distance on the gusset. So we're obviously going to need at least 2 times. We're going to need a little space on the fold for sure. And we've got enough space here on the fold, I think. As long as your gusset is like 2-3 ounce. And if it's not, almost everybody in this chat room is not going to have a bell skiver, but bell skivers are awesome. If this is the kind of stuff that you're going to do a lot of, you can take a heavier gusset and bell skive it down really nicely. So that's a thing you could do. They are not cheap, but it is what it is. Do you have to allow for a bigger flap if you widen the gusset? No, because the gusset will be soft enough that it's going to fold. That was not a line. It's going to fold inside the pouch. So it'll accordion itself inside. Do I have... I thought I had one that's actually exactly like this. I don't know where it is. Now, when we get to this here edge, we're going to have to think about the width of the leather as well. You know, this might be okay. If it was a 2 to 3 ounce gusset, this could be okay for the fold. It also could not be. And this is where I would print it and test it. And it's not much of a test. You don't have to cut out like your whole piece, right? You just have to print the pattern, cut out a chunk like this, and cut out a little chunk here, and see if it'll work. And if it doesn't work, adjust it just a bit, and it should be fine. The tighter the holes are, the looser the rope might sit. The tighter the holes are, the looser the rope might sit. Not sure what you're saying there. If you think the holes are... You mean spacing of the holes, size of the individual holes? You just need to tighten it. Shouldn't sit loose. Just tighten it. It'll be fine. Just make sure you're using some wax thread. Give it a good snug tug. It should be fine. I don't use this. I don't use an awl. I use just needles. I use needles or a sewing machine. That's all I use. So we've got our gusset. We've got all this stuff. Now, one of the things we got to do is bring everything into, you know, we could put a snap on here too. You know, like we could mark a hole for a snap. We could do this kind of stuff. Take this pattern. So did I group these? No, didn't think so. Just for the hell of it, we're going to flip it around, and we're going to bring it over. I'm going to group this now, actually, because it's good to have it grouped. Flip it around and go, this is kind of how it's going to sit, right? And if this is also grouped, let's group this. And then we can just take, whoops, I don't want that. Then we can grab both of them at once, and we can center them. Very tiny change, nothing crazy. Then we can take, we're just going to pretend we're putting a snap on this. Take this. Boom. Maybe it's well, what was that? 1/4 inch. Yeah. All right. All right, we've got our snap, and we're going to once again center everything, because then now we've got two groups. We've got the front of the pouch group, we've got the back of the pouch group, and then, well, this isn't a group, but it's an object. We've got our snaps. We're going to center everything again. Tiny little adjustment. That's fine. People hollering in the halls. I'm going to nudge it up a couple spaces just because snaps get pretty big. Maybe it's a concho, a little bigger. All right. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to add it to this and pull this out of the way. And then if I do Control-Shift-V, it should, so it's pasted it into the right spot on the, right, on my pattern. So now I've got my hole for my snap as well. And if we want to, we can flip this buddy, hold Shift so it snaps. And we got that there. Bam. This is a good time for me to mention to you guys. 1 second, I want to actually read this. The tighter the holes are, the looser the rope may be set. Imagine you working with stitching tool. The edges are folded in right with the second line at the right side. Never mind. Okay, never mind. Good. What was I going to say? Oh yes, this is a good time for me to mention to you guys. If any of you suddenly become pattern pros, but you're trying to figure out how to make your patterns into a business, I've only bought 2 so far, but I've started buying patterns. So I found friends or people that are interested in selling some patterns that would fit with this channel, and I give them cash to be able to make a video and sell the pattern as my own. Now, what this doesn't do, this doesn't give me that doesn't take away anybody's right to use the pattern themselves. So if you're making a pattern and you're looking for a little extra cash, you're like, man, how can I like get some money while I'm trying to build this pattern business? If it's the right stuff, I might just buy it off you, like maybe a couple $100. $200 to $400 is kind of what's in my head. Don't quote me on that. And that would enable me to do a video and sell that pattern. Now, the caveat is, if you're ever like, man, I want the rights of that pattern back so that you can't sell them, I've thought of the idea of then you just have to pay me the money that I paid you for the pattern. So it's kind of like it could be a temporary thing if you start getting big and you want the rights to your patterns back. I'm not sure on exactly how that's going to work, but it was just an idea off the top of my head. I haven't had to talk to anybody about that yet specifically because nobody cares so far. That's given me like the Plague Doctor Mask pattern was a friend of mine's. So the first piece is the middle piece. This is, well, whoops. So yeah, anyways, that's my spiel on patterns. Group. So yeah, we've got, this is the back. You know, this is the back of the back. Then we've got our gusset in the middle. Goes all the way around, right? Wraps around it. And then this goes on top. But, whoops, that didn't get grouped. I'm going to actually redo that, what I just said, because I missed a little something that I want to tell you guys. obviously, you have to do this first, right? You have to do, obviously you have to do this first. That's incorrect. You don't have to do this first. It's much easier. It's easier to do the front first. So I would stitch this bit of the gusset all the way around the front, and then I would do the back. Must? I don't think it's a must. I think my brain was malfunctioning. It's not a must. It's just easier. You don't want to have to deal with like your gusset attached to the back while trying to stitch through 4 layers of leather and driving yourself insane. So there you go. And reading back here, do you have any bigger flap? If you the first piece is apparently. Kai says apparel industry for 30 years. DM me for chat. PM for chat on patterns. Cool. DM, is there a YouTube DM? You can email me. darkhorseworkshop.com. If you have any, man, this is so much easier just to be able to type right here. If you have any interest in that kind of pattern deal and it fits with the channel, like I might do some artwork for it or add some stuff to it, because I really have no problem using other people's patterns as long as I have the rights to do so, because there's lots of stuff out there that people don't get to see. So, yeah, so there's that. Again, once again, make sure that if you are not a member of this channel, it's $1.99 a month. It's insanity. You get emojis, a green name, my undying thanks, my ability to continue to do these live streams, because if they're not financially viable, I can't do them. It's a day of my work week. So I want to do more of these live streams, but I really can't afford to yet. All right, so we've got all this stuff. We got our snap. We've got stuff for D-rings. Chris says you might have already explained, but why is there 2 extra rows of holes in the gusset? Is it just to add a pleat? The 2 extra holes in the gusset, they aren't necessary. And you actually can midstream scroll back and see what I did, but I did show this here folds to create a rounded edge, right? This folds over. So now you've got a nice smooth rounded edge. And that rounded edge is placed here on the outside. Man, this sounds a lot better than when I first started trying to explain it. On the outside of the front. So now you've got this nice rounded edge tucked in here. So you go through this hole, and then through this hole, and then out the back, and then back through. And so you got this rounded edge that also wraps around the side and snugs everything in. It looks really nice. So that's a thing. Right? But there's also something we've missed so far. Oh, so 1 second, I'm just gonna catch up. Would be cool if you could start making sleeves like that. Not sure what that means. Sleeves. Not sure. So one thing we haven't done here is, my brain is malfunctioning. We need a flap here, right? We need a little tiny thing for this. Now another way you can just do that gusset is you can, let's rewind back to this whole gusset mayhem we're talking about. You can just do it with 2. You don't need the rounded edge. So you could just have it you could just have it 2. Then there's no rounded edge, probably about that much space because it's got to go around that. So then it just wraps around this piece of leather. There's no rounded edge. It's not for everybody. You don't need to have it. It's not a rule. There's no law. You can just, and then it's just a crisp, nice, tight edge here because this is so tight to this. Wraps around, goes out these holes, and then goes back and forth all the way down. And if you do it that way, honestly, like this is just something to think about, then it's going to be uniform across the board because this back edge is also not rounded. It's going to just, going to sit flush here and stitch around the edge. And that also, flap is going to be the same. It's just going to be folded over the flap once. It's not going to have a rounded edge. So random tangents. You know what I'm saying. I'm just reading what C is saying here. So you're going to scalp the back and front with rounder. I think there's a language barrier here, but I'm trying to figure it out to make it C. C is like the form of the underside. Yeah, for sure. C, it's like a C, right? It goes around the edge, all the way around the edge on both of these. Yeah. So we also need to think about this piece here, and this would be a separate piece that would probably just come down here and stitch over a little bit here. So we can do, the one thing I would definitely want this to do is probably, like, I would want it to overlap. I wouldn't want it to have a gap with this other gusset part. Well, gusset, it's not a gusset. It's not another gusset part. Now it's just a folded edge, right? So we've got, like, we can just take this, copy it, paste it, drag it over here for ease of sanity. Delete this one and this one. Now it's too short, but it's okay. We'll fix it. And pull this in. Oh, these are weird. What? All right, so obviously too short, but that's just this piece is just folding around this edge and getting stitched on. And I never used to do this. I just think it looks nice if you have the ability to do it. Give it a shot a couple times, and if you're selling these kind of things, see how they sell. But it definitely looks nicer. You just got to judge against the cost of, adding that to it. I'm just going to count these holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. So 46. What do we got here? Objects. Oh, we know it's not enough, so let's just do this right away. How about that? Sorry if I just suddenly start going off. Outline stroke. Window. Documented faux. 37. So if that's 37, we need 9 more. That might be enough. Let me finish this up. Outline stroke. 46. Man, I'm pretty amazing. Pretty amazing today, I must say. All right, see what it says here. Yep, 100% like piping to hide the raw edge. We're just wrapping the edge to hide it. Yeah. Rye did say, so you're going to maybe scallop the back and front with rounder? I'm not sure 100%. You sub have been sent mail, be rad. You sub, have fun, send mail, be rad. Okay. Thank you. New sub. Okay. I figured it wasn't an U sub. I was pretty sure, but you never know. People, you know what I'm saying. All right. Obviously, we want this to be grouped, so we can obviously we're gonna group those so we can center them on the piece. Actually, no, we're not. We're just gonna nudge this over because we know because we copied this from the other gusset. We copied it from the other gusset over here. We know that it's right on the edge where we want it. So we want this to be the same. So we want this set of holes and this edge to stay the same distance. But we can do this little action here and just nudge it over And that's about right. It might need a little nudge more, but I'm not worried about it. So once again, print that, test it, see how it is. Right? That's what we do then. Simple explanation. You have a square SpongeBob and you have an oval SpongeBob. All right, so we've got all these parts here. One thing we need to do, because this is an old pattern we're using, we're going to clear it of all our stuff. Come on. It needs to get up for a bit. All right. All right. Take this. I just copy it. I like to leave everything down there in case I need to make changes. All right. It doesn't fit, which is fine. What the hell? Is this not grouped? What is this weird little square that I have here? All right. I usually go left to right, top to bottom. So I will rotate this and stick this in here somewhere that looks good, that doesn't cut the holes too much. So that you can see here, I'm not cutting through any holes. Everything should line up nice. We can take the A1, because this is A1, this is A2. I might copy this, make some more scissors. I just found some clip art for scissors, put them on here. So now when people print page 1 and 2, they're going to get this and this. Pretty straightforward. We can go back here and grab this part. This should be able to be on its own page. Barely, but it is. What do we got here? Is that something weird? Nope. Again, we've got... oh, I can get rid of that. These are pretty long, is what it is. Make sure that's grouped. Copy it. Throw it up here. And rotate it through. Check where the hole placement is. I'd rather not have it cutting through stuff. Looks good to me. Oh, and hey, it even matched up. Oh, this is literally where I put the gusset of the other one, isn't it? Nice. Bounce those up a little bit. And then we have our little front flap piece. Why you cut A1 and A2 exactly? Why you cut? Sorry. Because these are all individual pieces of paper. So people print these on 8.5 by 11 or A1 or whatever it's called paper. So this is a single piece of paper. If you're able to go and print this on a large printer at a print shop, great. If you can figure that, if you want to do that kind of stuff when you make your patterns. Well, my patterns are all done for people to print at home on their personal computer kind of stuff. So, though in fact I think I'm going to do this from going forward. I'm going to put a pattern with all these all on the page down here. So maybe if they're at people are at a print shop, they can do a big one. Maybe that's a good idea. Thank you. There you go. We've got that little piece for the flap. Whoops. Why am I not grabbing this? Come on. Come on. There we go. Might as well move that a little bit away from the edge. Get rid of that C. We can bring this little scissors down in between. Get rid of these scissors, don't need it. Bring these in, C1 and C2 into this pattern. you know, go up here and make some like obvious changes eventually to like. This should fit on an A4. I'm pretty sure it fits on an A4. Thanks for subscribing, Brent. It's I'm in North America, so 8.5 by 11 is letter size is my key. Just for a horse. This is just a sporran. It's a sporran. Did you say it doesn't fit on one A4? Why not? Should. I think honestly the one this been a while since I've looked at this, but this honestly I think doesn't. The main pages here I don't think actually do. Now that I'm thinking about it, the like Dark Horse, Sporran 1, build notes, and the page layout, don't think it does. I think I have to make some adjustments. Thanks for giving me a heads up on that. These are smaller. These bits are smaller and will print like that. Yeah, maybe Rye, maybe. So yeah, we've gotten that far. Delete this kind of stuff. I would actually zoom in a bit. Not that much. Take a screenshot of this. And then I can come up here and just paste it in. So that is a quick and dirty sporran pattern. Maybe we'll put on some stuff for D-rings and like little loops. We could do that as well. Not hard to do. We could let's just do it because we can. Go over here to a rectangle. Get rid of the background, but add a stroke. Bring it up to 2 because that's where I like it. And then we can click on these. One sec. And we can like fold them in. This is an inch. We don't need them that big. Yeah. What's the actual height of this? 1.8 inch long by a little under half an inch. That might be pretty good actually. Needs to be a little tighter. Maybe there. You don't need to, yeah, I'll put some, you just copy. These are 1/8, right? Yeah, they're 1/8. Put a couple. Oops. Copy, paste. Group these. and then use that to center it. It was almost perfect. Make a second one. Don't need to because it's a pattern, but I just like to incorporate all the parts into the pattern. So these are going to fold over and put a D-ring on where you want 1/2 inch D-rings. So that would be in part of the build notes would be 1/2 inch D-rings. And these would come off here and fold and then be D-rings. And your chain attached to that or whatever you want to do. Take 3 new pages and place them individually on one A4 size paper. It's human size pouch. This is a human size pouch, yes. It is. Like each square is an inch. It's a human size. It's human. It's a sporin. It's a human size sporin. Rye, I'm sorry. I don't really understand what you're talking about. I'm trying. So what else can we do to this? Not much. That's about it. We can print it and test it, see how that goes. That's about all I can think of. What's that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, trust me too. I'm a little confused, but it's all good. You know, it's all good. I don't know what you're saying, but it is what it is. So there you go. That's my Illustrator and Photoshop ramble for anybody that's interested in that kind of stuff. I think today is going to be a shorter stream than usual just because it's very cohesive and I don't want to ramble on about other stuff when we've already got the main thing done here. So I think I'm going to maybe maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe. I'm super confused, honestly, by Rye, but I don't know. I'm so confused, but that's okay. So yeah, now I've got something that I can do. I save it as a so I print it. I print it to a PDF. You can print to a. Oh man, you can't see this. How do I make that viewable? I know. This is a hack way of doing this, but I'm gonna do this real quick. All right, Photoshop. Boom. All right, so I kind of hacked my way. I just screenshotted it and took and pasted it into Photoshop because I'm not sure how to do it. Otherwise, I think I can probably figure out the exact window, but this was faster. So up in your printer on all your computers, there is always an option to print it to a digital document like a PDF. So I can just print it to an Adobe PDF, and then I just got to go through my range of pages and make sure I have all the right pages selected, and click around until I figure it out. So that's that. Rye, I don't know what you're going on about. My customers are not horses. Thanks. I'm glad you liked it, Sean. This is just another reminder, everybody. Super chats, super stickers, memberships, whatever floats your boat to help this stream continue to do its thing. I'm going to try my best to be focused, very focused on the stream lately. Things have gotten a little crazy. What time did we start? We started at 2:45. I'm gonna do maybe 20 more minutes. We can do a Q&A, and I can maybe show you some more Illustrator and or Photoshop stuff if you guys are interested. Yeah, let's do some of that. Or I guess it's Q&A time. If you have some questions, ask them, and I'll answer them, as long as they're not about my customers being horses, because that's shouldn't call my customers horses. That's not nice. But otherwise, yeah, you guys can like ask away. If there's no questions, I can just close her all down and move on. I think Rye has got a horse fetish, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. What else do I know about Illustrator that's super handy? I don't know. Though, going back through this, it is interesting that Rye was the one who was able to note to me that these top bits are 8.5 by 11 because I wasn't really thinking straight, and these ones are not. So I gotta fix that. Halloween mask might be a good idea, yeah. I will need an address, Yunalith. I think there's enough time today that I'll just carve it up and send it to you today. I'm not dying it, right? This is all for you. Like, I don't want to be doing too much on it. Horse whisperer, yes. Down, girl. It's okay. Everything will be fine. That was not a good sounding horse. I couldn't even do one. Probably also not a good horse. Doesn't seem like there are any questions. We have had a very spot on, everything makes sense stream. We didn't get it. Did we get any new members? No new members. Who's fallen on that membership sword? Come on, we got to have at least one new member. One. It's kind of a big deal. Nah, nobody's going to do it. So this will be the first stream with no new members, I think. That's crazy. Stream's going downhill. Crash and burn. It's okay, though. No horse emoji. I should fix that. For sure. I guess I could put one of the little icons as a horse emoji. That'd be a good idea. I wonder if I can do a membership thing. I tried last time and I couldn't figure out how to do it. One sec. I'm going to see if I can donate a membership to my own channel. Your channel. Can I do it? Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Oh, I think I can do it. I refuse. I refuse to have no memberships. I refuse. Boom. Look at that. Get out of the way. You think you can stop me? There you go. I make it happen. Nice. Good job, everybody. I have gifted memberships to 5 people. Which you think I'm paying myself. I'm not. Because because YouTube takes half of that. So I'm just paying YouTube, but but it entertained me at least. What else can I do? I could do super chats and stickers to myself. Okay, I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. What is this? Oh, I'm looking at the right thing. So I just had to go to the page itself to do that. Excellent. No problem. I'm just gifting memberships. Like, you can gift Oh, you have no money. Is that the thing? You can gift memberships. Just click on the little plus thing. Show your support for Dark Horse Workshop and click on gift memberships. It's a thing you can do. Totally 100. This is a pretty good angle, don't you think? We've got the shield in the background, the light there, my face. It's good. Trust asks what I'm going to do next stream. It might be airbrush time. Maybe. I think I'm gonna. Yeah, money. Yeah, it might be airbrush time. I hope we're not supposed to play Blood Bowl today because I haven't painted my figures yet. I got to do that. Should I paint some figs today? I guess so. I don't want to stream painting figs, but yeah, whatever. We'll see how it goes. We are closing down the stream fairly early soon because we got 2 hours. We did exactly what we needed to do. Yeah, if you need money, make patterns for me. If you're adding a D-ring to that wallet pattern, the biker wallet, you could do a very small, those metal D-rings that are great. You could just put one near where the eyelet is, really. That's what I've done in the past for those kind of things. Nice. Yeah, I've got a new airbrush compressor, and I want to do more airbrushing stuff. I also have switched from doing my finishes with a paint gun. I'm going to do it with airbrushes now, so I got to figure out some of that. But my new air compressor is awesome. Just a reminder that you guys, if you're looking for tools or supplies, including airbrush supplies, there are links to those on my website. I've curated a list of Amazon links. I get a small percentage of those, like a 2% or something hilarious. But it is something if you're somebody who goes and purchases on Amazon regularly, feel free to check that out. And I get a little kickback, so it's all the love and stuff like that. Robert, there are more game videos coming. You have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea. I am going to do whatever I want to do with this channel. Part of that is going to be game videos. And part of that is going to be game videos on the main channel because it's my channel. And most subscribers don't watch my videos anyway, so it doesn't matter. I should just go home and start playing games. I'm just going to do another stream. Go straight into Call of Duty. Is leather only being airbrushed or painted? Not sure what you're saying there, Rise Seabre, but I use an airbrush to dye leather as well as an airbrush to paint leather. Usually it's just dye. I don't do a lot of painting with an airbrush, very little. But I will use an airbrush to get like a gradient, like a dark edge and a light middle to make it look really sweet. So we're going to go over that and maybe some dye mixing and airbrushing next week. I hope. I think that's what I'm going to do next week. And yeah, we were at Amel and the Sniffers last night in Seattle. And it is the third time I've been recognized out and about. So somebody just came up to me randomly. I think it was Jason or Jared. I think it started with a J. And thanked me and said that I was the reason that they started doing leatherworking. And they just wanted to say hi and say thank you. So I was like, I'm a minor celebrity. Look out. It was pretty fun. It was nice. Yeah, I got recognized at the Wardruna show as well. That was interesting. Which is made a little more sense because Wardruna is like a Nordic folk something music. Red, green, nice. Yeah.
If the wife doesn't find you, what is it? Handsome. If your wife doesn't find you handsome, she better find you handy.
Third time is celebrity status. Very true, trust. Very true. So, what am I going to do? I do want to just end this stream. I don't want to just ramble on. So I'm going to close it down and work on, literally I'm going to go work on Yunalith's icicle thing and get that done. Yunalith, send me an email so I can figure out how to ship it to you. We can figure out shipping. I think I'm just carving it and sending it to you. But I think this is a very nice capsulated live stream. So, yeah. Are you lolling at my red green?
Red green's great. Hey guys.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Stellar weekend. Make sure you keep tuning in because without viewers, this stream will slowly die and it will be replaced by video games. So be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Love you all. See you soon. Cynthia, love you the most. And I will, talk to you guys soon. Thanks, Yunalith. Yeah, for sure.
Later.